This is Overwhelmed and Over It, the podcast where parents get to raise their kids, keep their sanity, and build their business. I'm your host, Gabs. Today's episode's a little different. I'm going to share my story with you, the journey that led me to where we are today, because sometimes knowing someone's path helps you find your own. These words absolutely mean the world to me, but you don't know the hell I walked through to receive them. I received a LinkedIn message from a brand new early stage mamapreneur. I've been able to connect with her from the beginning and be a cheerleader and just watch in awe as it feels like literally every week she's stepping into her own confidence. She sent me this one evening, which I know is her working time. And so I appreciate that in the precious time she has alone to work on her business, she found it important to send me this note. Today, I attended a masterclass of someone else. From the moment I signed up, it seemed too good to be true, and I should have just followed my gut. That's an hour of my time that I put my son in front of the TV that I'll never get back. Oh, and the mom guilt that comes along with it. She's doing a lot of the same things that you're doing, helping new entrepreneurs figure out their way, but you are so much more authentic, caring, and amazing all around. The entire time I told myself, I'd rather just spend this hour with Gabby to come up with real solutions. I'm so thankful for you in a million ways, truly from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for all of the ways you support fresh entrepreneurs and their businesses. Those words mean everything. Because I know, without a shadow of a doubt, for honestly the first time in my life, that I'm doing what I was put on this earth to do, which is help parents step into the ownership journey of their future. And I 1000% believe that entrepreneurship is a part of that for almost all of us. I believe in this so much that just last week I told you all I applied for a job again because it was this perfect intersection of what I'm already doing and building on my own, with the backing of a very large global brand and a physical space to make it happen. Once you know you're doing what you were put on this earth to do, you don't want to control what happens anymore. You don't want to control how you get there. You just know that that's what you're going to do. That's what you were put here to do, and you are open to however that happens. But just 2 years ago, I was not in that mind frame at all. I was desperate to make my business work. I was that kind of desperate where you're staring at your bank account, then at your kids, then back at your bank account, wondering how I was going to make it all work. And I'm learning and working through. I have a decision pattern of I don't make rash decisions. I'm pretty cool, calm, and collected. Change doesn't usually freak me out. And that's what makes me such a good strategic thinker who will just go big, because I'm not usually scared of failing. I'm not scared of what's on the other side of the unknown, except for when I feel like my back's against the wall. And when I feel like my back's against the wall, I make very desperate decisions. So insert moment of desperate decision. 2 years ago, I was desperately scrolling through LinkedIn and Instagram, and I was just trying to find someone who had the answer. Like, I knew I had what it takes. I knew I could make this work, but I didn't have all of the answers, and I was too desperate to see clearly and understand where I needed to go. So I found a coach. Her messaging, really spoke to the pain point where I was at right in that moment. And I vulnerably poured my heart out to her that the famine phase of my business had lasted longer than I expected, and I was struggling to put food on the table for my kids. She promptly told me that her $5,000 program was the solve to this and that she would be there to help me. And I believed her. I took out the last business credit card I had with any money on it, bought the program, and proceeded to copy step by step her process given in her pre-recorded course. I was all in, literally, and I trusted that this was going to be my fix, at least as all of her information said so. But a few modules in and a few too many questions in the community that I didn't feel like got genuine responses quickly made me realize we were just numbers on the Stripe dashboard. And the bigger lesson was a rinse and repeat framework doesn't work for me. Yes, I needed to figure out the money situation, but I never wanted to be unethical about it. And a few weeks into this program, following step by step what I was supposed to, I did attract my dream customer. We had a personal story connection. I knew that I could help her, and it was like the minute we got on the phone, we just vibed. But there was a caveat, as there is with everything in life, there's usually a curveball. She wasn't in a place to throw down the money to work with me that this program I was in told me I should be charging. So I helped her as best as I could for free and gave her as many resources as I could. But in exchange, I literally looked at our relationship as a stepping stone to my next paying client. And I accidentally hurt her in the process. 2 years later, I still think about this situation because she called me on my bullshit. She stood up for her boundaries and she ended our friendship to protect herself. And I don't blame her. And I hope she knows how helpful she actually was by doing that. Because ever since she did, I've looked at how I show up in this world differently. The truth is, when I shut down my consulting firm in December, in many ways, I was starting over financially again. The Brave Start had been around for a couple of years, but because both Jackie and I were running our own businesses, it very much was treated like a side hustle. I've been here before. It's how my consulting firm grew to 7 figures. It was one side hustle after another for years before I decided to actually believe in myself and go all in. So that's basically what happened in December when I realized my mental health couldn't take it anymore. Was I've been here, I've done this before, and I can do it again. But this time I get to carry every lesson I learned along the way with me. So I picked up the Brave Start, decided it was no longer going to be my side hustle. It was going to be my focus. But this time I knew there was going to be one thing to absolutely be true. The greatest thing I can offer for anyone who's in my world and is looking for support is to show up genuinely. There is no offer structure, sales process, marketing messaging, nothing that can beat the reality of me just showing up for someone else. Because when I have had my back against the wall so many times, as it does when you're an entrepreneur, especially in the early days, I really didn't need to be investing and spending a shit ton of money at that point in time. I needed someone to show up for me. And that's why I say overwhelmed and over it is the village that never came. That's why we're building this so that we can genuinely help each other out and show up for each other. Because honestly, I'm willing to bet you what you really need right now is for someone to just show up for you. So I decided, no matter what I did next, I will not tell you what your credit card wants to hear to jump out of your wallet. And that's a bold choice for me because that means I'm growing slower than some of my bills would like me to. I mean, hello, 3 living children under my house, it's expensive. But I am doing the greatest work of my career because I'm turning around and giving the helping hand I wish I had 2 years ago. I've talked to so many marketing friends. I've talked to so many coaching friends. I've talked to so many of you. I know what we really need in this entrepreneurship journey is support, confidence, accountability, someone who removes the blockers and keeps us going, which is what I have done my entire corporate career. I kept surgeries running in operating rooms on time. I kept insurance companies paying bills so that the hospital could stay open. I've kept nurses from running in circles to keep you late at your doctor's appointments. And I have helped startup companies build really incredible software that changes all of our lives. And that only happens when you keep those hands on keyboard, the people who actually know how to build the things, focused and guided. And now I get to do that for my village, my people, the people that I've been searching forever to do life with. And I know you're out there. We're creating the village that I desperately needed when I 1000% believed in my business and I 1000% had kids to feed at the same time. I just felt like I was failing everywhere I turned. But you know what I've learned along this journey is that our greatest work doesn't come at the fastest pace. My life has gotten immensely better since I've accepted that. And going forward, I only want to work with people who are perfectly okay with that. Because are there coaches out there who can get you to the next 7 figures? Absolutely. And one day, I hope to work with one also because I don't want my next 7 figures to kill me like the first ones did. Are there coaches who can help you build a business that only takes 4 hours a week to run? Sure. If money is your only motivator and you want the whole entire business automated. But if you want a coach who wants to spend an hour a week with you untangling the spaghetti in your brain that is your business ideas, the chaos of raising kids, and the reality of unpacking your own shit so you can be a joyful, fulfilled person, then I'm your girl. I won't charge you an arm and a leg because I know you don't have it. And if you do, good on you. And I think there's more value in going on vacation with your kids and your partner than there is in hiring some high dollar coach when you're still getting the foundations of your business laid out. I will give you specific steps every single time you ask me a question because I have kids to raise and a life to live too. We don't have time to consume information and then still go figure out the how later. Let's just get the how done together and move the hell on. 7 years ago, I learned the power of how precious every day is when my youngest son was born stillborn. And it's my mission to help you maximize the time that you are spending in your business so that way you're maximizing the free time in your schedule. Last summer, I got to take my kids to the pool at 2 p.m. almost daily, guilt-free. And let me tell you something. It wasn't because I was swimming in money. It's because I was swimming in alignment. And I confidently know how to show up for my work. And if you think I wasn't an entirely different mom and wife because of it, you're crazy. And I desperately want that confidence and alignment for you and your babies too. I will be the first person, Queen Independent over here, to tell you that you don't need a coach for any part of your business. Between podcasts, content, AI tools, and everything that us coaches are putting out there in the universe, I'm telling you right now, you can build your business without anyone coming alongside of you. Technically, step by step, you could figure it out. But is that the life that you really want? To be figuring it out alone, to be living it alone, to be enjoying it alone? Because I will tell you, the one thing I wish I had when I was getting started was someone who helped me stay focused and intentional in the moves that I was making in my business. That shiny object syndrome combined with my inner critic, who can be quite a bit of a mean girl, made a combo that made my early entrepreneur days so challenging. And I will spend every day that I have left on this earth making it so that other moms and dads don't have to have that same story. So that's it. That's why I do what I do. That's why this podcast exists. That's why the newsletter exists, because we're all just trying to raise our kids, keep our sanity, and build our businesses without losing ourselves in the process. If any part of my story resonated with you today, I'd love to hear from you. Connect with me on LinkedIn at Gabs Hayes, or make sure you are registered for the Overwhelmed and Over It newsletter, which we deliver to you every Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Remember, you're not alone in this journey. We're all overwhelmed, but we don't have to stay that way. Until next time, this is Gabs.